I'm going to give you all some advice. If you can't play Deadlock, don't play Deadlock. Now, that advice should have gone to FUT before yesterday, where they played a Deadlock here on Sunset, and it didn't go great. Now, just quickly, let me show you some examples of what maybe some good Deadlock play looks like.
Is that a 2v5?
Yes.
The way they lost that round was mostly, well, it was completely just the fights versus Angel. Nice combo. That's what we wanted, positions, and make things a little bit more difficult. But again, they've had a lot of these cool utility combos.
And that is what good Deadlock play is about. It's about combos, particularly when we're playing it with a Raze. That is what you want to be doing. You want to be combining, in particular, the Gravnet with the nade. It can get you kills. It can, because people are stuck there, there's really nothing they can do. So if you can combo them together, it's really, really good. Instead, though, in this game from FUT, we were seeing a lot of stuff like this, where it looks like, off the rip here, this is our Raze and Deadlock together, actually, here. Both of them are right here, and they're going to throw some util out here, right? So you're thinking, ooh, Save might be in some danger, because just take a look at what they're going to do, because they're also going to Omen flash down here as well. Here comes our Omen. We're going to flash. Oh, look, Save's in such trouble, right? Oh, he might die to the Gravnet nade here, but he doesn't die, because if we take a look at the map, instead they threw the wall. Just to quickly show you, here is CNED. He has thrown that nade out there. It has come out from CNED, and you'll see it here just in a second as well as he runs forward. It actually, I think, helps destroy their own wall. So that's a bit bizarre as well. But then you'll see in just a second that what we do is we then go, okay, we got this space, we run away, and then we put up a sonic sensor behind it. Am I just crazy here? Is this just not completely backwards? Should this not obviously be like, throw the Gravnet with the nade, and if this guy doesn't get caught and gets pushed back, you then put the wall behind that, right? Once you've taken the space, not wall to then get destroyed, to then put up the sonic sensor that they very easily could just silently walk past, particularly in this area. Am I crazy that that's just not obviously backwards? And this was the kind of stuff that FUT were doing throughout this entire game. We got another example of something a little bit weird, but this time it worked out in round number 8.
Regular programming. Showstopper immediately thrown in. Trex has got to feel unlucky for that one. And CNED.
Okay, so this one's a little weird just because of the way that CNED goes. Like, everything is kind of fine with this. Again, we're going to throw the Gravnet in here, as we saw. And CNED is going to Raze ult down in mid with a Dizzy Flash in behind him as well, as we saw as well. And that's all fine. What I find a bit curious, though, about this play is you get the Omen Flash coming down here as well, is that you would think, like, okay, the Gravnet is coming in here, and it looks like CNED is initially pathing down this way, right? The Flash has come here as well, so anyone kind of in towards stealth, anyone in this kind of area is just screwed, right? Or if they instead have tried to avoid this flash by coming to the right slightly, they get hit by the Gravnet and they're screwed by that too, right? And then they're just stuck in place. Should be, again, hopefully a kill for CNED. Instead, though, and I don't know if this is a CNED thing. I don't know if this is how it's planned or not. But coming this way just seems a bit weird. It just seems off. And I understand he's getting suppressed here, right? The KO knife has come out, so he has to basically just send it now. So I get that. I get that he has to just send it, and so he does, and he actually does find a kill. But I still find it weird that he came this way at all. It seems much more like, if people did get caught by this Gravnet and they're stuck there, like, why are we Raze ulting here? Because I get that, okay, we've thrown a flash here and a Gravnet through the window. You might actually think the Raze is coming this way, right? It might be possible that the Raze is actually coming from A, which would actually push you out into mid, which is where he's actually coming, right? That's something that maybe could happen here. But instead, he's just gone down the center of mid, avoiding, anyone who's being hit by this, and sent his ult this way instead. And look, it gets a kill, so it's not the end of the world, right? It's fine. It ends up working perfectly well. But I just find the play a little bit weird of, like, like with the was this Gravnet and this doing anything? And then, okay, we walled behind it this time. That's good. That allows us to kind of join in this fight with CNED. So, again, like, it's not bad, but it's a little bit confusing. Then later on in the round, though, we saw the kind of one little deadlocked setup that I thought was actually really good.
It's got to feel unlucky for that one. And CNED's more than ready for the response.
Oh, they've got to be frustrated. Surely CNED goes down now. Yes, eventually, but the cost is still paid. Yedege trades it out through the smoke. Sanders being lit as well in that interaction, down to 32 HP. And FUT, they've got success lined up for them. This trap, heard. Safe knows it's around, but he's going to creep past it. Cam spots him, tries to run away, gets caught by the stun and swung by out of captain.
Okay, yeah, this is a cool setup, right? So we've got the camera here out towards mid with the sonic sensor there. You know, for when you shoot it, you have to be pushed up to shoot it in range of the sonic sensor. And then you know, will obviously get caught by the stun and die like Safe does. So this is a really nice setup. Actually, when Deadlock first came out, I kind of theorized that, you know, comboing it with Cypher or Killjoy when people do shoot their traps or cameras or turrets or whatever, that, you know, using the sonic sensors in combination with them will be probably one of the best ways of using it. So it's nice to see FUT do that. But again, this was really the only thing that I think FUT did that I was like, okay, that makes sense. Now let's take a look at the very next round, and in this one they've got the kind of comboed Cypher and Deadlock utility together, right? So again, you might think like, oh yeah, this is good, right? You know, again, we're playing like, oh, if they destroy a trip, they're gonna get stunned, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's good, right? But they're also gonna do something that they were doing consistently as well here that I really didn't like, which is they're just gonna throw the wall at the start of the round, and they did this almost all the time. You see Safe here, he's just putting up his orb, he knows he's safe. Obviously, they can't push him because the wall's still up there as well. And he just destroys it. And like, you know, this was happening all the time. And well done. You know what we've revealed here? We revealed that someone is defaulting towards A. Like, that's not useful, right? Like, that's not a good use of our wall there whatsoever. But they were doing this consistently throughout the game. They're then going to make a pretty big mistake in this round as well with their general setup for this round.
They look to punish them as the execute comes in. It'll be presumably Yedije who has to do most of that. There's a trap wire, there's a cam in the elbow, and 2 sonic sensors on the site. They might not be looking to hold on to it, but they will definitely be doing a lot of damage on paper when Vitality come to walk out.
Yeah, I guess for the most part, it's just annoying for the runner. And you'd expect that maybe that's where that showstopper will be used. So if he goes blasting through into the site, could be a little bit problematic. Unfortunately, though, not really going to be anything found whatsoever.
That's a devastating Viper's Pit too. Yeah, the null command got them out on site, cancelled Mr. Fallen and Yedije's utility. Viper's Pit goes down towards short. So Vitality have got full control. And it's not even the Viper fighting, which again, pet peeve when you see a Viper up close taking those duels. Instead, it's Runner who's going to be point of contact. He's spraying through, doing damage, even popping his showstopper here. The guy is crazy, and he actually won't find any value on this side of the pit. And he goes looking on the other, and the rocket goes through, finds nothing but damage. A little bit. The time is running down, the sprays are landing so much value. And even Safe's gone running out of the pit because the time is so low. It's ticking over, the spike is soon to explode, and CNED's trying to keep them contained, keep it costly. But that won't happen. They've made it away.
Yeah, our problem here is that we've got both of our Cypher and Deadlock set up together, which is great. But then they're just going to KO ult in onto the site. And they're both here, right? And so we've got the 2 Sentinels that, you know, don't need to be in range of anything of their stuff. And yet, here we are, you know, just getting fully suppressed by both Sentinels against the KO ult. Is this 2021? Like, what? Has KO just come out? What? People have been playing around KO ults for ages at this point. Like, what are we doing? And then for the attack side, I did have a really funny idea of how they might use Deadlock for the attack, because we all know that Sunset is broken, as Team Heretics will show in this 3v5.
In the lead here, because there's 3 remaining on this attacking side. They've been good to hold this. Whenever they've had the situation, they've been winning, but they've always had some sort of a numbers advantage. But this is when Kushner starts to push forwards. Into the smoke, the wingman gets shut down as well. There's time trouble for BBL. Heretics might be able to save this. Elite Slow on the spike. He gets stopped. Can't even beat a few halfway. 2 versus 2. And the time is ticking so quickly at this point. Para has to move in for the fight. Brave is going to decide to stick it to spray down, but I believe he may not have the chance of defuse.
Yeah, Sunset is broken, but if you're wondering how you actually go against that and how you try and beat it, well, you just have to be coordinated, and eventually you're just going to have to get in there, as BBL then did in the very next round.
No.
It's a great trip.
And we'll block Elite for a little bit. Can they get onto the spike? Body blocking for now. Kushner into the fight. They know they have to contest this, and that they will.
And so my idea for Deadlock here that I thought would be pretty funny is when you plant the spike here, obviously you can put the sonic sensors on the spike for the spike tap, right? So obviously that means that, you know, when you are spamming them, obviously they get stunned, they can't really move, so you're more likely to get a kill off the spam. So that's always good, but also that you could even just wall yourself off here in B main and just say, you can't even come into us, right? We can still spam through this wall, we can still spam it, but now you can't even get to us, right? You then have to actually come and destroy our wall just to even try and get in, and we're just gonna play 5 people back here and just spam you, obviously with the sonic sensors as well, you know, trying to get in. That's not good for you. Throwing a grav net on the spike, of course, as well is gonna help you with the spam. That this would be a very funny way of basically abusing Sunset. Instead, though, we ended up with more things like this, where the wall they're going to use kind of actually cost them this round.
They can breathe a sigh of relief, but he will set up later.
Deep in the corner.
yeah, it landed this time, I'll tell you that. A showstopper used, and the right move from Vitality just to fall back, let that showstopper fizzle out. And now they play the post plant together. Planted. No ultis to work with for them, but Mr. Fallen grabbing the plant has found his. And Yedege is blocked out by the door closing. Oh! There was a gap there, almost as a bait, but Trex has found everything with it. This should be it. The flank denied means Yedege is coming around in main, and now is the last man standing. A 1 versus 4, and a flawless streak of...
So yeah, they ended up putting down this wall here just in a second. I mean, I guess it's not the worst wall in the world. You can just see it just there, but obviously Trex is already ahead of it. I mean, you can jump over it too. So there's definitely, you know, it's not the best wall to be using. Definitely not. And honestly, even playing... you know, on site here, I mean, I have to even question that, right? Because as Heretics have shown, as many teams have shown, like, this is just so strong that it's just like, it's not worth trying this, right? Like, at least not consistently, right? Particularly with the game on the line, like, it's just not worth trying this. You actually are just better off just all coming in here. It's just more likely to succeed, especially when they've got this Viper wall as well that's going to, you know, separate your players and stuff, and your players are going to get isolated behind the Viper wall. So yeah, it's just not great, and obviously Trex, you know, is ahead of the wall, and you see, Ata Captain, he's just not really ready for this fight, right? Like he's not even looking. I think he's looking at the map. Probably doesn't think that anyone can actually be there. And by that point, you know, they've already lost 2 players, and the round is pretty much over. So definitely wasn't impressed really with what FUT were doing. It wasn't very good in my opinion. Yeah, I hope that if they're gonna play it again, that it looks much better than it was.